All right. Welcome to the inaugural edition of the PRO16 podcast. I'm Trey Sterner. I am the head of scouting for the PRO16 League. Here with me, I've got Jamie Shaw. He's the senior national recruiting analyst for On3. Thanks for being here, Jamie.
Trey, man, always good conversation. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. Before we get started, could you tell us a little bit about kind of what your role is and what you do at On3?
Sure. So On3, we've been around about 3 years now. I think we're going on four. Jamie Shaw, the senior national recruiting analyst. What that entails, a whole bunch of intel, scouting, recruiting, rankings, putting that together for each class, putting the list together and everything, identifying talent, going out scouting, recruiting it, seeing how they go through, also following tracking recruitments and all that fun stuff that comes with the national landscape of high school basketball.
Awesome. And rankings kind of where I was going to start today with you. So we had a handful of Pro16 players enter the top 150 in the 2026 class. We had Joe Sterling, Eli Sancombe, Adama Tambadou. Those are three of them. Do you want to talk a little bit about kind of what they showed in the last couple months to prove themselves in that top 150?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll start Joe Sterling. He had a heck of a high school year this past season. I feel like he's grown a couple of inches. Previously, in previous viewings, he's kind of just been like a 6'1" type shooter. Now he's legitimately up to 6'3", 6'4", keeping that same shooting, playing a whole lot more within himself when it comes to balance points, when it comes to efficiency. But the shooting aspect is a 6'3", 6'4" guy with that type of confidence and range, really stretching the floor. Really a threat at multiple times to be able to have to keep a defender with him and stuff. So that ability, mainly the growth side of things, and tightening it up and getting the efficiency side, has grown with him. Eli Sancombe is a unique type player, 6'4", 6'5", good length, but his feel for the game off the charts, primarily for his AAU program. He plays on the ball. You can do some fun things with him when it comes to running offense. You can set him up as a primary. You can put him as a secondary, put him in the mid post, different areas, and run some offense through him, let him be an offensive hub. But his passing ability, his quick processing, really unique for a player like him. And when the ball comes back around, he can knock down a shot as well. And then Adama, just the tenacity that he has. He just finds hustle plays all over the floor. He's got an unbelievable frame, great length, very strong. And the motor runs hot. But not only that, not only with the frame, the motor, he's got the instincts in the field. So he chases rebounds, loose balls, block shots, just kind of helping the hustle plays. And now he's adding a little bit of ball skills to it as well. He's able to face up and get downhill straight lines, finish at the basket, do some initiation stuff there. The production for all three of these guys has just become too hard to ignore when it comes to the kind of the projecting them toward the next level.
Yeah, 100%. I think they all had really strong May showings. Alex Davis was another prospect. He's plays for teams. Sorry, he plays for Trey Man Elite.
Yep.
He's another one that entered the top 50. What did you kind of see from him?
Yeah, so it starts with the size. Obviously, as we saw in the transfer portal this past year, bigs will always be a hot commodity. Going from there, his continued development. He's got a fluid athletic frame. He's got, some wiry athleticism, great length, and he's showing some touch. He's showing some feel. He's showing some ability to be able to get to a spot, play a little bit over his left shoulder, and then also face up a little bit. So his is a developmental curve, kind of betting on the future. What he's done for the past 6 months developmental-wise, you're kind of betting on the fact that he will continue that trend moving upward. But, the size and the athletic frame is kind of the bet there, along with continued growth, and I think he's continued to show that. Yeah. You think I can say continued a couple more times as well?
You might be able to. You might be able to fit it in there. All of those guys have high major offers other than Sancombe at this point. Do you see him picking up kind of some power four high major attention in the next couple months?
Well, it's all about fit, and even more these days with the transfer portal and all that type. You don't necessarily need high major and all that coming out of high school. There's a long game to be played in there, and it's all about fit and where you're going to be loved on and where you're going to get opportunity at. So maybe if it, obviously being a top 150 player in the country, that's a high major range. High major schools should come in, be evaluating him and seeing him and everything. So with the transfer portal around, I don't know exactly what schools are going to be doing when it comes to high school kids. I know that this cycle, there's a whole bunch of schools talking about only taking 2 to 3 kids, maybe targeting 5 or 6. And if they don't get them, just waiting until the portal comes about. So for a guy like that, somebody's going to have to really fall in love with him and go for that. But there's a lot to love there. So all of that to say, he could possibly. He's good enough. He's talented enough. But it's not the end of the world if he doesn't, because you go to a school that loves you, that you're going to get the opportunity at, ball out, and then have a ton of options after that as well. So he's a very good player. He's a very, very good player with a lot of unique skills that do translate to the highest level.
Yeah, I think now more than ever, it's go where you're wanted. Go where you're wanted, and it's going to sort itself out. If you're good enough, you'll get there.
Yeah. If you put up numbers, you'll be a hot commodity.
Exactly. You see it with guys like Lane Taylor from our league a couple of years ago. He was a hot commodity in the portal this year, and if you ball out, they're going to find you, especially now. So looking forward to kind of seeing where his recruitment goes in the next couple of months. Continuing on with the 2026 rankings a little bit, we had some guys move up some spots significantly. Quincy Wadley was one of those. He's at number 19. He moved up 23 spots. Talk a little bit about Quincy.
Well, with Quincy, it just comes with his ability to take advantage of his, take advantage of his advantages. He can really score the ball. 6'5", he's athletic. He gets to spots and he puts pressure on the defense. But after putting pressure on the defense, he puts the ball in the hole. So there's just an innate scoring ability that he brings, that he consistently brings. He's got some athletic pop. Obviously, his dad played D1 college as well, so he's got some pedigree with him too. And he just consistently is able to create offensive advantages, and then once he has those, capitalize on those advantages of being able to score the basket and create buckets for his team.
Yeah, he was really smooth over May. I was impressed with his shot creation there. He's just so long.
He's got pop, 3-level scorer. He's able to, he plays with great pace. Not everything's fast. Gets downhill. He's able to finish above the rim, pull up jump shot. Swing around, catch and shoot. He's got a pretty complete offensive game. Now it's going to be about getting his balance points right, getting the footwork together, and finding kind of his kill spots on the floor. But the innate ability to just, score the ball is pretty good.
Yeah. Speaking of scoring, Kaden House is another guy that moved up 14 spots in the latest rankings. I just think about, I think you were there for a duel between him and Quincy. They were really putting up some offensive numbers in that one. But Kaden, as far as scoring goes, he's one of the better ones you're going to see when he's hot. What do you kind of see with Kaden House?
He's just the ultimate alpha, just the confidence. He's going to keep bringing it. So it's going to be downhill. It's going to be pull up jump shots, and he's going to continue to go at you. So he's going to test your confidence in yourself every single game, because he's going to bring it. He's got an ability to score it. Next thing with him is going to be kind of tightening it up, possibly adding a little bit more pop, strength. But he's just got that ultimate alpha confidence to his game that's kind of hard to ignore when he's on the floor.
Yeah. And when you think about those kind of alphas, kind of that scoring archetype, how do you project that to the next level? Do you kind of look at fit more than anything at that point?
Well, I think at every location, you would much rather have somebody that you have to tone down a little bit than to pick up. So his alpha scoring mentality can fit into a lot of different roles. Just a matter of him learning how to fit within a team concept. So if he's playing with other good players and all that type of stuff, how does he fit in? You don't want to take the confidence away, but you want to kind of tweak it to where it's efficient within the offense that you're trying to run, that everybody can kind of eat as well. But if he goes to a team where there's not a lot of good players around him and all that stuff, he can just go cook. That's a fit too. So, you got to take that into account as a coach when you're recruiting the player. How does that fit into what you're trying to do in your team concept and everything? But I'd much rather have to tone a guy down than have to pick him up.
Yep. Yeah. Um, one of the biggest moves in the latest rankings was Noah Smith of Grand Park
Hmm.
Premier out of Indiana. He moved up 43 spots to number 87. I love Noah. He's so skilled at the forward spot. What do you kind of think about his game?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, 6'7", possibly 6'8", long, very fluid athlete, but the skill. He can really shoot the ball. He's really got great touch and stuff. He can stretch the floor, kind of provide spacing in that way. He's developing, kind of putting it on the floor. But the athletic framework that he has at the 6'7", 6'8", long, with the projectability that he has in his body, coupled with the athletic fluidity, makes him a little bit unique amongst his peers. But then you have the shooting aspect to it as well. A true face-up type guy at that type of size with that projectability, there's a pretty bright future with the different archetypal pathways that he could go down. Um, so it's going to be fun to watch what his next 3 years look like, because I feel like his best basketball is ahead of him. His past 6 months of development has been pretty substantial, and it feels like he's on kind of an upward trend when it especially comes to his confidence as well, figuring out who he is as a player and then continuing forward from there. So very, very intriguing future with Noah. Very intriguing athletic archetype that he has as well, and somebody who's starting to put that projection into production on the court.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of scratching the surface of where he can be, especially, when you get him in a college weight room, you get him in a college environment where he's going to add some muscle. I think that could unlock some more parts of his game too. Already kind of getting more physical in the last couple months that I've seen him, and as that kind of grows and he finds that part of his game, I'm excited to see where he can go there. Another big man, when you talk about kind of development trajectory, I don't know that I've seen one with a more impressive one in the past year, but Colin Ross
Mm-hmm.
of OTP Inspire, he moved up quite a bit in the latest rankings. He just entered the top 150 in the last couple months. What have you kind of seen from Colin Ross in the past, 2-3 months?
He's another one. Just the athletic archetype that he brings is unique. 6'10", 6'11", and he just really moves well. He's so fluid with his movements. He's got pop as well as lateral ability. He can slide his feet. You have to love the defensive projection that he has moving forward as he learns how to defend and learns angles and learns footwork and all that type. Um, he protects the rim. He can switch on screens. He can slide his feet. He can guard probably the 3, 4, and 5 comfortably. And then the projectable frame that he has of being able to put on weight. He's very efficient on the offensive end. He does have touch, so in the future you want to project kind of his ability to knock down a shot. But he plays within himself on the offensive end, dunker spot, front of the rim type stuff. And he finishes high above the rim. He's continuing to get more confident in his ability, but his long term upside is very, very, very intriguing with his ability to switch, his athletic frame, and the projectability of what he could be moving forward, and the value that that brings within the game today. Obviously, this game's all about creating advantages on both ends of the floor. His ability to create an advantage on the defensive end, able to switch up or down a lineup on the front court, and then continuing to add strength and all that is very, very interesting with the long term outlook.
Yeah, and he, the last couple of weeks of the spring season, he was starting to look comfortable shooting from three and taking, one or two a game from there. So I think if he unlocks that part of his game where he's taking, 2 threes a game consistently and making them at a decent clip, that's gonna do wonders for kind of where he can end up. So we'll see where that goes with him and that
Yeah.
touch. This last one in this 2026 class I wanted to touch on. He moved up 34 spots. Donovan Chris. He's San Antonio future, San Antonio Brennan,
Mhm.
played with Kingston Flemings this past high school season. Talk a little bit about Donovan.
Yeah, Donovan's just a scorer. I really, really like his scoring ability with the San Antonio future team. He's having to play on the ball a lot, at least the times that I saw, which is a little bit possibly out of position. You kind of like him in an off-ball type role, but he's getting his team into offense and initiating that. But he's still scoring the basketball. Really like his shooting ability, like his positional size. I like his ability to create an advantage and capitalize on that advantage. as a scorer. Yeah, I just it's just the scoring ability, the shooting ability to stretch the floor. I think he's efficient from three. I think he's got nice footwork, the good balance points hitting throughout the shot. He's able to shoot off movement, able to shoot off the catch, and I think he can do. Him playing in this initiation role with his future team, I think will only enhance him in the future. It'll have him to become possibly a secondary type of creator, that type of stuff as well, being able to play beside a true point guard, and reinitiate an offense and do all that. But his thing is scoring. I think he's a good scorer. I think he's still got continued upside as a scorer. I think there's room for growth if he's able to tighten up his efficiency a little bit. I still think there's more in there for him to continue to climb, possibly in the rankings if he's able to show that type of development. But I just really like his ability to score the ball, his ability as a three-level guy, the athletic upside that he has, the positional size that he has. He just checks a whole lot of boxes that are very valuable at that shooting guard at the next level.
Yep. Yeah. And I wanted to touch on our 2027 group a little bit. We've got a really talented group there. Lincoln, Cosby, Howard Williams, Reese Alston, a couple of those guys. But talk a little bit about what you've seen from those 2027s as you're kind of working on those rankings and updating those. Anyone that you're really seeing a lot from recently.
Yeah, sure. So three guys, I guess, when I went to Memphis, that kind of really, when I went to y'all's stop in Memphis, that kind of really popped off the page. The first one being Reese Alston, point guard. I just love his pace. I love the way he plays. I love his ability to see the floor, make a read. He's never rushed. He gets to his spots. And once he gets to his spots, once he creates that offensive advantage, he makes a read. He processes quickly, whether it be a float or whether it be a finish at the rim. He knows angles at the basket. And passes the ball incredibly well. His passes that might not always lead to an assist, it's the pass that leads to the assist. So he gets his team in advantageous situations, and he makes the read to capitalize on those situations as well as a point guard. I really, really like his pace. Obviously, he's the son of Rafer Alston, full-time NBA point guard, played with Yao Ming, also street ball legend, Skip to My Lou. But his game is very, it's easy, it's simplified. And he makes it simplified and easy for people around him. Another one, Dawson Battie, I think, is taking a massive step, possibly even starting back during his high school year in January. And he's really capitalized on that in the back half of his high school year going into the AAU season to this point. He's really, really tightened his game up. 6'7" or so. Obviously, he's a nephew of Tony Battie, brother, just signed again with, I think, Wichita State. Out of the portal. So, he's got basketball in his blood, but his game is really kind of condensed and consolidated. It used to be a whole bunch of flashes. The jump shot was flashes, but now his footwork's gotten better. His balance has gotten better. He's able to be more aggressive when it comes to scoring from the perimeter. He's also got a low post game, super athletic, great length. Can play from the mid post and in, but he's also showing now that he can stretch out to the three-point line and create advantages there as well. I think he's had a really, really good summer. Also, he's been doing that as the number one option too. So he's growing his game. He's becoming more efficient as the top guy on the scouting report. So that's been very intriguing for him. And then Howard Williams, I think that he's just steadily continued to show 6'6" wing, strong, great frame, great length. Another guy though that can put it on the floor and make something happen. Getting downhill straight lines. He can shoot the ball, knock down a shot. He's aggressive. He's also very confident in himself as well. He just kind of fills in a lot of holes, checks a lot of boxes with no real weaknesses in his game. And he continues to show that, throughout. He played at Oak Hill this past year. Another one, as the season went on, his confidence got better. His numbers got better. Going into AAU now, being the number one option on his team, he's really thrived. He's really showing the efficiency type stuff, and he's really showing his ability to continue to make things happen.
Yeah, Reese and Dawson have both gotten, I think, 5+ high major offers in the past couple weeks here. Reese, after that NBA PA top 100 camp, I think he's made a case for himself as the best point guard in our league for sure. I personally, I would say maybe in the country. Am I off base for saying he's in talks for that?
No, I think the conversation's to be had. I mean, we're going through 27 rankings right now and looking at it, and he's definitely being considered for that top spot, for that top point guard spot in the class. So it's he's really had a good showing playing with the Cougs Elite team, and really just, I mean, his game is just so simplified.
Yeah, he makes things. I said it the other day. He just makes it look like things are moving in slow motion when he's like reading the floor. He just sees things so well.
And it's interesting too because he's bigger than you think. You see him out on the court, you're like, oh, and then you get beside him, he's like, oh, he's taller than I am. Yeah, he's the size and everything too. He just checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, I think he's definitely grown. I think he's probably at least 6'2", maybe pushing 6'3" at this point.
Yeah.
So I think, if he keeps growing to that 6'3", 6'4" range, that's a whole nother conversation too. Speaking of NBA Top 100 camp, you were there in the past, this month. First off, talk a little bit about what that camp looks like and kind of the setup there, what they try to do with that camp.
Yeah, so it's they try to get the best 100 or so players in the country in the 26, 27, 28 classes. Obviously, majority 26s, physical development, a couple 27s that deserve it, and a couple 28s as well. College coaches are able to be there for a couple of days. NBA scouts are able to be there. So they try to put them through a whole bunch of it's put on by the NBPA, the NBA Players Association. So it's kind of developing these guys ready to be professionals in the sport. So they have classes. They encourage parent involvement. They have classes for parents. They have seminars for the kids and all that type of stuff too. When it comes to money management and all that type, becoming professional. But then you get on the court and you have on court play. So there's 2 sessions a day over maybe a 4 or 5 day period where they play. Again, as I said, pre-approved media is able to come. It's not open to the public. But pre-approved media, you have NBA scouts and college coaches all able to be there, and just trying to put the best up against the best on the court.
Yeah, 100%. And we had a couple guys that we haven't touched on yet today that I wanted to talk about that were at that camp. The Placide twins, Gavin and Gallagher. Were you able to see them at all at that camp? And kind of you can talk about maybe how they've looked this summer overall.
Sure, yeah. So Gallagher, we'll start with him. He's an interesting player. You like the size that he has, probably 6'9"ish. But he has a 3-and-D type archetype. Somebody who's able to stretch the floor on offense, create spacing that way, and then defense, play up and down the lineup. Love his defensive versatility. Think that he's able to slide his feet. With his length and size at 6'9", he can guard down the lineup, but his athletic fluidity. He can guard more perimeter-based guys up a lineup as well. He's put it on the floor a little bit better. He showed here a couple 1-2 dribble pull-ups, playing from the wing and everything. But I think his long-term upside right now is as a 3-and-D guy, which is incredibly valuable. In basketball, if he's able to get that shot down to 38+% from 3, especially from the corners, and then switching throughout the lineup. Gavin, on the other hand, 6'10", 6'11", a little bit more ball in hand type. He's got really good, he's able to put on the floor with comfort in the half court. He's able to create advantages that way, playing either from the mid to high post, able to get to the elbows. But he can also reinitiate an offense, put the ball on the floor and go at somebody who's also 6'10", 6'11", create advantages that way. With him, all about strength. Just simply needs to get stronger. But he's also still growing. I mean, gosh, he's probably grown an inch even since the high school season ended. So, the upside that he has as a ball in hand guy at 6'10", 6'11", guy able to face up, a guy able to create advantages in the half court setting, is pretty unique. And as he continues to get stronger, as he continues to play a little bit more physicality and all that, there's a world of upside there with some intriguing pathways he could take.
Yeah, I think with him, that physicality and consistency, there'll be games, where you see him and you're like, oh wow, he looks like a top 30, top 20 player, just with his offensive creation. And as he kind of continues to realize that he can take over a game and dominate it and do that on a night-to-night basis.
And that's the next step. You hit the nail on the head. That's the next step, is that he does have physical advantages to where he can dominate and take over a game. Now it's just about doing it.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Mason Williams and Sam Funchess, high school teammates on SIP United. They were both in attendance. Mason, Mo Williams' son. former NBA player, coach at Jackson State. What have you seen from Mason Williams? He's kind of been a hot prospect in the last month.
I love his aggression. Mason Williams is an on-ball guard who just relentlessly puts pressure on the paint. When you put pressure on the paint, you collapse a defense, you make a defense scramble, and you give yourself numerous offensive advantages that you can take advantage of. I need to find another synonym for advantage, but but you're able to find multiple offensive opportunities there. So going through with that, next steps for him will be the reads coming out of those advantages he's able to create with 2 feet in the paint. But he just puts a relentless amount of pressure on the paint. And when he gets there, he's able to finish at the basket. He's able to get fouled and get to the free throw line for easy points. Really, really, though, love his ability, again, put 2 feet in the paint, collapse a defense, and then get a defense kind of scrambling. When it comes to Sam, he's got the size listed, 6'11", left hand, and he just really gets over that right shoulder. I think in this camp, he did a whole bunch of other stuff outside of just the scoring. When he was at a one-on-one type of situation, he backed his man down, got to the basket, and finished. What I really liked about what he did was he set great screens to enable to get his guy open, again, to put the defense at a disadvantage, and then have a 2-on-1 type situation with his teammate where Sam would just roll to the front of the rim and make the defense make a decision. Do they guard the ball? Do they guard Sam? And then make a play out of that. He crashed the boards really well. I thought he was a good offensive rebounder, getting some easy putbacks that way. As as a big man in camps, you're at the whim of your guards. If your guards can post entry, if your guards can get your big men involved, you can have a field day in the camp situation. But if they can't, then you're gonna have to go find it your own ways. Sam was in a situation where he was gonna have to go find it his own ways, and he was able to consistently do so. I think in the first game he might have been 8 of 8 from the field, 7 of 7, somewhere around there. Finished easy chippies around the basket, went to go get offensive rebounds, crashed the boards, rolled hard to the front of the rim, and finished. I think that's his game as he continues to put on weight, as he continues to get base and core strength to his body, an ability to set up on the block 15 feet in and get over that right shoulder and score. Score as a roll man, score at the basket, score lobs, and do all that. Next steps for him will be counters to the go-to, getting to that right shoulder. If the defense cuts that off, where does it go from there? Would be a next step for him. And then we all know Sam likes that jump shot. I think that his game has taken a whole nother level going away from that jump shot and using that in sporadic situations. Showing early that he can shoot it, letting the defense know that that's a possibility, but then getting down on the block, down 15 feet and in, and finding his offense that way. Getting that jump shot tighter, the rotation of it tighter, is going to be a threat, and that's going to be something in his future that he has in the bag. But playing around the basket, getting his advantage around the basket, it's taken his game to an entirely new level, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's been so efficient. That's kind of been what efficiency and consistency have stood out to me about Sam this summer. I think when you look at game to game, he's probably been our most consistent top guy this year, just with how well he's scored around the basket. And like you talked about, kind of the little things he does as a big man, setting good screens, doing those intangibles.
And then also like playing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I feel like with big men, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's my bad. I was going to say with the SIP United team too, I think that coach does an unbelievable job of setting Sam up to be able to kind of be an offensive hub. He wasn't able to show that necessarily at the top 100 camp, but when I watched in Memphis, he lines up in various spots. The coach does a great job of getting him in one-on-one situations, and Sam makes awesome reads out of the mid post. They run cuts and different types of actions off of Sam, and he makes great reads. When the defense spreads out and he's got a one-on-one situation, he's able to attack the one-on-one situation and get to the basket that way. But his passing ability is really, really interesting. And how that coach with SIP United utilizes him, I think brings out the very best of what Sam Bunches could be.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with how well that group is coached. Not only their 17s, their 16s too. I think you know, their coaches put them in great spots. Like you look at a 2027 big like David Verdell. I think he could have a big July. I think they do a great job of developing. You can tell that they're a development team. They work on those little things. Because with bigs, it's harder sometimes. Like it's easy to see scoring with the Joe Sterlings and the Quincy Wadleys and the Caden Houses, but with bigs, it's harder to kind of evaluate and see those little things. Do they set good screens? Do they make good reads when they get double teamed? Because like you said, they are at the mercy of their guards sometimes. Not always able to see it. So, I've been really impressed with Sam and that whole SIP United program. Moving to a couple Pro 16 alumni. We had Nick Kamenia and Chris Sinak at USA Basketball's U19 training camp. That's ongoing right now, but you were able to see some of that camp. Talk about a little bit what you saw from Nick and Chris and how they kind of performed there.
Yeah, for sure. So they both made the first round of cuts. I guess that 32 players started. It's a live cut throughout the entire week. So they showed up, I guess, on Saturday, and they're going to go through the training camp until they leave to go to Switzerland for the World Cup. So in that process, they'll go from 32 to 12. Both Nick and Chris made the first cut of 18. So now they're sitting at 18, trying to get down to 12. Nick has been, he's such a unique player when it comes to his passing and processing ability. He makes shots, but what he's able to do is in the half court, just really, really make quick decisions that elevate the floor of a team. The ultimate connector. His frame has gotten better. He's gotten stronger, even since graduating high school. Every bit of 6'8" now. And he's just playing at an incredibly high level, to where there's even conversations of the fact as to how long is he going to be actually at Duke. People are talking about that. People, NBA scouts were looking and writing his name down, and with the intrigue there as to how long will he actually be in college with the developments he's continued to make, but also the unique ability to create advantages at every location on the floor, with the ball in his hands, knocking down shots, physical, just a high IQ, cerebral type player. With Chris, obviously he was a 5-star McDonald's All-American, all of that coming out of high school. So he had all of those accolades. He's got a unique physical disposition. Every bit of 6'10", power forward. The way he moves, I think, makes him incredibly interesting. His ability to slide, his ability to open his hips, he's not stiff at all. His verticality that he has, the length that he has. But he's also able to put it on the floor a little bit. He's able to, rebound, grab and go. He's able to, 2 dribbles in the half court to get downhill to the basket. Finishes above the rim. And he's got the promises of a jump shot that I think will be there in the future. Got to clean up a couple things when it comes to his base. A little bit of a hitch in it right now, but the release is good, and I think there's something there for the future of being able to consistently knock down the jump shot as well. Out there, all 18 guys that made the cut have a chance to make the team. There's not different tiers. There's tiers at the top. Obviously, AJ Dibansta, Koa Pete, Michael Brown were playing at an incredibly high level. But when it goes kind of below that, everybody has a chance to make the team. So I guess it's just kind of what the coaches are looking for, what they want to put together. They're going to play a trapping style. They're going to get up and down the court. They're going to play fast. Know that. But any of the 18 could make the team. And it'll be interesting to see kind of which direction that they go in. But Nick and Chris both did very well for themselves and put themselves in the conversation, for sure.
Yeah, really excited to see, not only with this U19, but how the college season shakes out for those two. Nick, I mean, when you look at Nick, I think I've always said he's just the ultimate winner. He elevates people around him so well. Like he just makes life a lot easier for his teammates. And I think, especially as a passer, I think he's always been a little bit of an underrated passer. He sees the floor so well, and reads the game at a really high level. So I think those are things that can help him, find a spot on this U19 team, and hopefully, in that Duke rotation, which is going to be loaded, but, we'll see. Well, kind of as we wrap up here, I wanted to get kind of your take on, as we enter, this weekend's live period and the July live periods, what's some advice that you would give to recruits that are kind of looking to make a name for themselves, get that offer, get noticed.
Do what you know you can do, and play hard at all times. I think those are control the controllables. That's kind of where you're at with it. Anytime college coaches are in the stands watching, you never know who's watching. It could be a scout that you don't know who it is that's watching for. It could be a new coach. It could be it could be anybody. But when coaches are able to be watching, you want to control your controllables. Those controllables being playing your butt off every possession that stands out, and then doing what you know you can do, doing what you practice, doing what you feel comfortable with. Don't be trying to, because you heard somebody say you got to shoot it more, or you gotta attack the basket more. You got to do this. Work on those things, but when it comes to games in front of coaches, do what you can do and play hard.
Yeah, I've always kind of said it's a lot easier to get discounted by a college
Yeah.
coach than to catch their attention. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
looking for there's so many people playing, there's so many reasons why they would say, I'm good. So don't let yourself be one of those kids that isn't playing hard, isn't being a good teammate, isn't doing the little things and get discounted before you can even kind of show what you can do. So well, Jamie, I really appreciate you taking some time to talk to us. Appreciate you being here and talking with us this morning. Is there anything from On3 or coming from you soon that we can look for?
Yeah, I mean, every single day we got content coming out. Joe Tipton and myself on the basketball side, then as well as our team sites and everything too. So every single day, continue to check up. There's new stuff at on3.com. Yeah, continue checking it out, and don't hesitate if you ever have any questions on Twitter. Jamie Shaw 5 is me. Please feel free to reach out if you have anything. But Trey, I appreciate everything you do, and I'm appreciating everything that you're doing to help grow the game and helping out these kids, man. Keep doing a great job with you and your circuit.
Hey, I appreciate it. Always say you're the best in the business when it comes to this stuff. So really appreciate you.
Thank you, man.